Hello, Renaissance family. Welcome back to the Jostens Renaissance Happy Hour. I'm John Rowe, lifelong educator, member of the Jostens Renaissance education team, and a Renaissance and School Mark consultant. PC, our guy's on vacation, and I searched the country for an adequate co-host, and we are super thrilled to have our phenomenal leader and probably one of the best humans on the planet, Mike Wolf. He's going to co-host tonight. Welcome, Mike. We're so thrilled to have you.
Heck yeah. Thanks, John. I really appreciate being here. I got some big shoes to fill, but I'm going to do my best. But no, I'm happy. Monday. Love Mondays. It's a good day to get together.
Let's love Mondays. Absolutely. So what's going on with you? What do you got going on?
I'm getting used to empty nest life, all that sort of stuff. And things are going well, though. It's different. But Renaissance is cooking. We're having such a fun fall. We got the tour in full force. We have had it's off to a really great start. So that's been exciting. PC hosts it and drops all the Renaissance ideas. Chew has been so inspirational and the crowds have been amazing. We're headed to your state next week.
I know.
We got a sold out event. So
I love that. I'm totally excited for that, to be able to hang with you for one. So that'll be fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. So other big news, Mike is a relatively new grandpa, 6-7 months. I joined the new grandpa club last week. My son and his daughter and his wife had a daughter, Leighton Lynn, 9 pounds, 6 ounces last Thursday. So we were super excited for that. So anyway,
the Renaissance family is growing.
It sure is. It sure is. So anyway, hey, let's go on. If you found us on Facebook or YouTube, we'd like to welcome you. This is an incredible network of educators. Feel free to chat any questions you might have, but also share this video with your fellow educators. And as a recording, it'll be available on jostensrenaissance.com. You can also find recordings of past happy hours. If you missed our last one with Bentley Lewis, you have to watch that one. She was awesome. Yeah. That's a don't miss for sure. Now tonight, we got another don't miss. Our topic is student and staff recognition, and joining us is the incredible, talented Melissa Wright from Kennebecasis High School, New Brunswick, Canada. She is a Renaissance Hall of Famer and regional champion of the True North region. Welcome, Melissa. Here she comes. Woohoo!
Hi, guys. So good to see you.
I know. Thanks for joining us. Happy Monday.
No problem. Yes, happy Monday. We love Mondays.
Yeah. And you were saying this is a big one in Canada, huh?
Yes, this is the Thanksgiving holiday in Canada. So Thanksgiving Monday today. So just finished off my 3rd turkey dinner of the weekend. So it's a good Monday.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving up a holiday. We've been trying to get Melissa on a happy hour forever, and she's usually committed to her big hobby, dance. But tonight, because it's a holiday, there's none, and she's given her time to join us, so we appreciate it very much.
Oh, awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you. I know you know a lot of the Renaissance fam, and a lot of them know you, but we thought it'd be fun just to hit you with some quick questions just so people can get to know you. So first, how long have you been in education?
21. This is year 21.
Wow, 21 years. Congrats.
Wow.
Okay, so in that journey, when and how did you get introduced to Renaissance?
So I actually saw Renaissance in my teaching internship. I went back to my high school that I attended to do it. And the teacher that ran student council when I was there, because I was part of student council, was like, we've just started this. You would have absolutely loved it when you were here. And boy, was she right. So shout out to Heather Malco, my student council advisor from high school. But it was phenomenal. I couldn't, like when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this at whatever school I go to. And I was lucky enough that the first year I was at my school, my principal sent out an email and said, there's this Jostens Renaissance workshop. Does anybody want to go? And I was like, oh, pick me. And we've been rolling with it ever since.
Wow, that's fantastic. And that's so cool. It just takes one person to make a connection to change, your life and then all the lives that you've impacted. So that's such a great story. Okay, question number 3. You probably know from the rallies and just knowing me, I love games. Do you have any favorite board games or card games or yard games?
Oh, that's a tough one. We like a lot of games. We like to play Monopoly Deal because it's a nice, quick little game with the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, and I'm also a little bit of a nerd, and I like to play Magic the Gathering every once in a while with my husband and our son. So
Oh, very cool.
a bonding thing for us.
Heck yeah, that's the best part about games.
Yeah.
Just for the record, my wife loves Monopoly Deal. I hate it because I never win. Never, ever win.
I was going to say,
so bad at it.
Watch out for my 10-year-old son. He is phenomenal at it. Like you would not believe.
John already said one, but hit me with some favorite hobbies.
Well, dance, obviously. I love to dance. I love knitting and crocheting. I especially love hiking. Me and my husband, we did last summer, we did a 50-kilometer trail the weekend before we came to JRGC last summer. So we love to hike. We love the beach. Let me see, any other hobbies? I like to bake a lot of sweets.
Nice.
And that's a lot.
That'll keep you busy.
Exactly.
All right, we're in October, Halloween time. Favorite Halloween costume from your past?
Starbucks cup. I'm a Starbucks cup like every year.
No way. That's so funny.
Yeah.
And we'll end with the short one. If you can think of one word to describe Renaissance, what would it be?
This is actually 2 words. Can I do 2 words? Life-changing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, cool.
You know, how many times you hear that, Mike, when you talk to educators?
Yeah.
You're all the time, life-changing.
Yeah. It's
cool.
changed mine too.
Yeah. Mine as well. Absolutely. Just a side note, for some reason, we're not on Facebook Live right now. So we're trying to figure that out, but we'll keep rolling. We can probably post it at some point on Facebook. So, but we'll keep it rolling, but that means we're not getting any chats. So unfortunately, you're stuck with 2 of us, Melissa. So
that's okay.
We'll see what we can do. All right. So we're talking about recognition and reward tonight. And let's start by kind of talking about that concept of it. When you went to kind of a culture of recognition in your building, what was the impact on it with your staff and your students?
I think it's just made people feel like they've been seen, and that what they're doing is valuable, and that it goes back to those things that we respect as a school, right? We're trying to reinforce those things and recognize people for that and be like, hey, we're noticing that you're doing, we live on 3 C's, kindness, commitment, and character. We're recognizing students for those things. We see you, committed to your academics. We see you being kind to others, and building those character traits that we want to see in everybody. And also I think the amount of times, and I'm sure some of these stories will come up later on, but the amount of times that people have said like, wow, I didn't even think anybody knew I was here type thing is so impactful, because we don't want anybody, Staffulty or students that are walking through our buildings, to feel like a ghost, right? We want people to feel like they have a place that, our school is a place that they can belong and that they can love Mondays at every single week that they're there. It's really, and it's a mindset, right? Like the recognition, it's a mindset. Like we want to recognize people. And we always say the more people we can recognize, the better, because they're going to talk about that to their friends. And then their friends are going to be like, well, wow, that's amazing. How can I get and be involved in that? Right. That type of thing. So it really helps to not only students to realize, wow, I'm doing good things, and Staffulty to, wow, they saw me doing these good things, but also brings everybody together, because everybody is like, we're working together towards these things we respect and value to build the best culture in our school possible.
And early on, did you get any pushback? We're recognizing too many people. We shouldn't have to recognize kids. Any kind of pushback?
Well, not really so much on that end. Our school has a very well-established student council. So for a lot of people, it was a really like a different way of thinking, because they weren't used to the recognition piece. Like our student council is fabulous. They do, wonderful theme days, wonderful spirit weeks, wonderful events, but it was just something different. And we found that it took about 3 years for people to really start to catch on, because we're a big building. We're staff of about 100, and students, we have anywhere around 1,100 kids every year. So it was a big change, right? And because it was a different way of thinking, something they weren't used to. But I don't think we could go back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Really, Mike, do you hear that a lot? It took my school 3 years to to catch on, so that's pretty common probably to really
It
get it
is.
going.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, like we always say, is start small, do a few
That's
ideas, and then it just takes a minute for that snowball to get the momentum. And usually that momentum happens around 3 years. Not that it can't happen earlier. I've seen
Right.
some great examples of schools
Yeah.
this year, Rapid City, a different one in California, that have really gotten out strong. But yeah, it does take a little time to get that full snowball going.
For sure.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I really liked what you said too when you're hitting on the importance of recognition. You hit on a lot of the R's, and you said it brings people together, which I think ultimately might be the most important R, which is the relationships. And it's neat to see we have so many R's, but we need them, and we really need that relationships one. And I think it plays into that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to students, would you be kind of willing to share some of the specific things you've done or ideas that you might have that you're willing to share for recognition of students?
Yeah, of course. I actually have a couple that I'd love to share. So one that we do every month is called Academic Excellence Recognition. And it's very simple. I send an email out once a month. Teachers respond with the names of students that they want to recognize for their academic efforts. We don't ask about, what the grade was or anything like that. If a student is deserving of being recognized for their academics, we want their name. So they send us the name, and then our team decides on a theme for our bulletin board. So we have a bulletin board in our main lobby, and every month they choose the theme. So this month it's kind of Halloween-y. They've done a cauldron, and they've got like bubbles coming out, and all the names are on the bubbles that are coming out of the cauldron. Like in the past, we've done pumpkins and ghosts. So it's just every month has a different theme. So our team takes some ownership in that as well. But I think an important thing too with the recognition piece is be open to feedback and to involving it. Because when we first started the Academic Excellence Club, we called it 100% Club. So we had teachers send the names in of kids that got 100% on anything. Didn't matter if it was a quiz, a test, project, anything. And then one day a teacher came to us and said, I'd like to nominate this student, but she didn't receive 100%. And we said, that's fine. Send us her name. We're not going to check or anything like that. And she said, no, you don't understand. This student will not accept her name being up there if she knows she didn't get 100%. And we said, well, what do you propose? And she said, how about a name change? So we changed it to Academic Excellence, which allowed us to recognize so many more students, which is our whole goal, right? And the great thing too about it, it's displayed in our lobby. I've seen times because we have parent teacher in our lobby, and my table, for whatever reason, I'm the last one in the alphabet, always ends up directly across from the bulletin board. And there's been many times I've seen kids go over with their parents, find their name on whatever the shape is, and they'll stand beside it and point at it and take their picture. So, sometimes we think that it's just a little thing, a little piece of cardstock with their name on it. But to those kids, some of them, it just means the absolute world. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to talk about the other one I was going to talk
Yeah,
about?
please do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this other one is my absolute favorite. And shout out to Chris Mann, our Jocelyn's rep. If he's out there watching tonight, he'll know. He's like, I know this is your favorite day of the year every year, because he always comes to this. So what it is, it's usually the first week of May. We do what's called Renaissance Champions. So it's for students that have made improvements in any of these three areas. Could be one, or it could be a combination. So in their academics, in their attendance, and or their behavior. So they're nominated by teachers from either first or second semester to attend this. And I would have thought after, we just had the 19th one last May, but every single year kids get their invitations through their period one class, and a kid comes up to me and they're like, I got this invitation. What is this all about? So we kind of try to keep it like secret, because it is exclusive. They get to miss a period of class, a period 3 class for this. So they come down to our mini gym. They have to bring their invitation to get in, because we use those to draw for door prizes while they're there. We also invite all of our community sponsors to come as well. So they kind of get to see Renaissance in action. And we've actually had community people say, wow, I didn't realize the power of this and what this is all about until they actually fully see it in action. So they come to the mini gym, and we tell them what it's all about. Our principal, Mrs. Jensen, always tell them, she calls it Club Awesome, and that one of their teachers has nominated them to be there. And we keep a list of who's nominated them. We don't tell them, but if they come to us, we certainly will. And the powerful thing about that when they do is sometimes they'll be like, really? That teacher? And it's like, it builds a positive relationship with that teacher because they're like, wow, that teacher saw me and recognized I was doing something good. So while they're there, they get a certificate, which is presented by our principal. We have a rewards card that is exclusively for those students. And it has 6 spaces on it. So 2 of the spaces are they get an extra day for a homework or an assignment. There's 2 more spaces, which are best seat in the house. So they have the option, like they can sit wherever they want. Most of the time in my class, they like to take my comfy chair to their desk. And then there's the 2 spaces in the middle are the most coveted. So one of them is a 5-minute breakaway. So they get to leave one class once 5 minutes early. But the last one, I always have kids try to get the card before the ceremony. And because it's like every Wednesday, I know this is going to sound funny. So every Wednesday, we have a church that's directly across the road from our school. They serve free craft dinner. So craft dinner in Canada is like the boxed mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So they serve free craft dinner to any student or Staffulty from our school that would like craft dinner. So the last space on there is a KD quick pass. So you get out of your 3rd period class 5 minutes early to beat the line of 1,100 people up the hill to get craft dinner.
I love that.
Yeah. So they absolutely love that. Like, shout out to the KV Baptist Church. Like they do that every single week for our kids, and having that little perk is just, icing on the cake to those kids. So they get that rewards card. And then we usually have some sort of swag item, whether it be a t-shirt or a drawstring bag. We've had water bottles. I think last year they got lanyards and pens, and they always say Renaissance champion on them. So that goes to that, that visible, tangible, walk aroundable. People see that and they're like, oh, what is that? Like, how did you get that? What did you do? So just starts a positive conversation about Renaissance. And then of course they get, free lunch, and which they like as well. And it's just an hour of celebrating them, and they love it every single year. We actually had a girl one year that she got the invitation, and I have another advisor with me, Elizabeth Folkens, and she went to Elizabeth and said, I'm not going to go. And she said, well, why? She said, oh, my mom's going to be mad if I miss class. She's going to be so mad if I miss class for this. And Elizabeth said to her, I promise you, she will not be mad. But if she is, I will personally call her. So after the ceremony, she came back and she was just beaming the next day. She's like, my mom was so proud of me. She put that certificate on the fridge and everything. So it's those little moments, like we don't realize the power that these little things have. I know one of the very first years we did this, and I feel terrible because I didn't know this student's name. It goes back to the ghosts in the hallway. We usually have, when we're giving out those certificates and the rewards card and the swag, we have like a little bit of I call it like an assembly line, but it's a line they go down and they get their stuff. And I happened to be standing at the end of the line, at the table guarding t-shirts, because apparently t-shirts need to be guarded. But I was standing there saying, here's your small, medium, larges. And a kid picked up his t-shirt and said, thank you very much, and kind of walked down the line a little bit. And then he just stopped and he held the t-shirt in his hand and stared at it like this. And I could hear him say, just very quietly under his breath, I didn't think anybody knew I was here.
Wow.
So
wow.
You don't realize the power that those things have. Sometimes we think, oh, I just saw that kid do something good, so I want to make sure they get a little bit of recognition. But for some kids, that can turn things completely around, right? Like, I talked about Brad at JRGC in my Ren Talk. He was one of those kids that the recognition had an impact on, and he turned everything around. It's so, people sometimes that aren't in education think, oh, does that really work? But it's like, yes. And know that you're not always going to hear about those students that you've impacted or the Staffulty that you've impacted, but know that it is impacting people. They might not say it and you might not hear about it, but it is changing people's lives.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So your rewards card, how long does that last, like the next school year? Because they get it in May, or how's that go?
Yeah. So it lasts until the end of the school year. So it's pretty much like a month and a half that they get to use that for. Yeah. But we do have another rewards card for when we recognize students for perfect attendance. So when we have perfect attendance breakfast once every quarter. Because ever since COVID, we noticed our attendance was kind of, had dropped a bit, as I think many schools had. So last year we decided to bring it back. COVID has kind of died down, thankfully. And we decided to bring that back. So we changed it to, because we used to have an advisory period where we could actually host a breakfast for 25 minutes. But our schedule, our schedule has changed a little bit. So we do a grab and go now, but it's still just as powerful because we usually have McDonald's breakfast sandwiches for those kids that have got perfect attendance for that quarter. They get an invitation in their period 1 and they bring that up with them on the day of the breakfast. So they get, juice box, a McDonald's breakfast sandwich. We have perfect attendance bracelets. So another one of those visible, tangible, walk aroundable things. Mm-hmm. And since we do 4 a year, we have 4 different colors. So we tell the kids, try to get a stack of colors of the bracelets. But then they also get the rewards card. So our rewards card for that is our blue card. And the only thing on it is the KD Quick Pass for the craft dinner. But that's the only thing on that one. But that expires at the end of the next quarter. Oh. So every quarter it resets. So they have an opportunity, which is nice because kids will be like, oh, I didn't get it last quarter. I said, well, don't worry. You have a chance to earn your attendance the next quarter. Yeah. And the thing of it is, I really like too, it's not tied to academics. It's just your attendance, which is what we're encouraging kids to do, because we also have at our school what we call an attendance incentive. So they can exempt one exam if they have less than 5 or less absences in all of their classes and they're passing all of their classes. So tardies are tied into that though too. Every 2 tardies is equal to an absence. And then, of course, an absence is an absence. But that has been really impactful, too, to get students to come to school because everybody wants to be able to exempt an exam at the end of the semester, right? Yeah. And then we've also started doing no tardy recognition as well last year. So that one is much simpler than the other ones. But every month, we do that one monthly. We print off the names of all the kids that had no tardies. We do a big display in the lobby, and then our admin in the office on the announcements will draw from those names for candy watches because they were on time. So, but it's, I know it sounds silly, but
I get it.
In the first month that we did it, I think in February last year was the first month we did it. We had 700 kids that had no tardies. Wow. In March, it went up to 800. So
that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. And it stayed at that for the rest of the year. So to see that improvement in 1 month was huge. And it, it was encouraging to us that what we're doing is having an impact.
It's working. Who do you have help tracking all that?
So we use Power School in the computer. So when we do, they run the reports, but I track everything on my computer in terms of how many we had no tardies in February, how many had none in March. So I do that. I have a document that I track it all in.
And you teach on top of it.
Yep. And I'm a department head as well. But the thing of it is when I couldn't imagine teaching without Renaissance. I absolutely love it. It is one of my passions. And when you're passionate about something, you'll make time for it.
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Just jumping in, apologize for the issues with Facebook Live. We have our Sarah Sosker on behind the scenes is working on it, and Therese Koulas, we pulled her out of her rehearsals to help. We think we have the link working, but some people have found us on YouTube. We're also on our website. This will be recorded. It will be on JostensRenaissance.com. If you missed the first part of it, you don't want to miss any of it. But we do. One of my favorite people, Tammy Grant, is watching. I don't know if you see her. She has a question about the candy watches. Where do you get the candy watches?
I'm not sure, actually. I think they might have ordered them on Amazon, but I will check, Tammy, and then I will come back and respond to your comment and let you know.
Awesome. So let's transition to kind of staff recognition, Staffulty recognition, which sometimes we forget about that, but it's equally as important. What are some of your strategies you use with that?
Oh, so one of the more informal things that we do, which I have a couple of them here, I love this. It's called a compliment notebook. So it simply says, this is a compliment notebook. Read what the person wrote on the last page of writing about you, then write something nice about one of your colleagues and place it in their mailbox. So because we are such a large staff of 100, we have 2 of these that circulate every year. And it's just so nice to have people they write all kinds of stuff about, people in these about things you might not even notice, because I'm the lucky one. I get them back at the end of the year, and then I get to read all the nice stuff everybody said about each other. So this is more of like a nice peer-to-peer recognition. Doesn't cost us really any money. We buy the composition notebooks from the dollar store, print this off, and then just circulates all year long. So very informal, but still appreciated when people get it. Because I'm lucky. I usually am one of the ones that the first people to do it. So, and last year the lady I had done hadn't been at our school, so I hand delivered it to her because she didn't have a mailbox yet, and she was like, "What is this?" And so I explained it, and she was like, "Oh, that's so nice." So it's just something little, but it's so super impactful.
It just floats around the building. It just floats around the building, or do you intentionally try and get it everywhere?
It just floats. So that's why we have two, because we want to make sure that it's always out there and always moving at somewhere within the building. But our Tireless Staff Award, we try to do that one a little more intentionally, so more people are covered in different departments. So I can talk about that one. Yeah, sure. So our Tireless Staff Award, we do that once a month. And how it works is we actually just got a ginormous tire from our automotive department that they couldn't use anymore. The kids spray painted it blue and painted Tireless Staff and white letters on it, because that's our colors, blue and white. And so every month, the winner of the previous month chooses the next month's winner. But we have a couple stipulations. It can't be someone that's in your department, and it can't be someone, we try not to have someone that's won in the last school year. So it spreads around. And I will say, like, so last year, our last winner was Ms. Maybe, and she chose for this month in September, our school guidance counselors. And they were so surprised. We have one new guidance counselor. He's brand new. He didn't know what to think. He was just totally shocked. But it was really nice. So I was talking to them afterwards, explaining how it worked and what they had to do for the next month. And as they started to walk away, I could hear one of the guidance counselors say, "You know what? I didn't think I was ever going to win this." Mm-hmm. So it's like, It's so powerful. And because we share those comments as well with our students on the team, because they're not the ones selecting the winners, right? It's staff to staff. So they are like, "Oh, wow." Like, sometimes it's important for your students to hear those things as well, because to realize what they're doing is having impact, because they're the one that actually carries the tire around the school and takes it to where it needs to go. Right. So it seems like something so silly. They get the tire, they get a certificate that they get to keep. And we have one of those, the Renaissance pennants, I think it says All-Star on it. Mm-hmm. And they get to keep that, but the tire gets passed on the next month. So it's really been super impactful. We started that back in 2021. So it was a way, because it was something back then, because we weren't allowed to have assemblies and that sort of thing, that we could do online, right? Very easily on a Teams call. So it still actually is done online, a school-wide Teams call every time we do it. So it's really nice. Yeah. Another one, if you don't mind, or did you have a question? Sorry, John.
Well, I was going to jump back to I was thinking about our meeting. Our team meets on Monday mornings, and we do this school culture survey that I'm sure many are familiar with. And we were kind of talking, we've revised some of it, but we were looking at some of the results. And Mike, help me if I'm wrong, but Elena on our team was saying one of the things that have really stuck out in terms of staff recognition that it has the most power is written comments, written feedback from staff to staff or student to staff. That was the most meaningful recognition that was from our surveys. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that ties into the next one I was going to talk about as
well. There you go.
Yes.
I knew that. We were going to segue to that. I knew
that. Because in May every year, if you can't tell, May is like our super busy time, because we go to school till about mid-June, and then it's exams and graduation. But we do what we call Thank a Staffulty Member every May. So students in their homeroom period, in their homeroom class, so like their period 1 classroom, we send out slips of paper, and they write a nice note to thank any staff member. It could be a teacher, an educational assistant, admin assistant, cafeteria, custodian, bus driver, anybody that they want. And we make sure that every single student writes at least one. Sometimes kids will ask for 5, and hey, that's not a problem. We want, to recognize as many people as possible. So then what we do is we collect all those. We just simply because we're a large building, so we put a box in the office on the counter. People can drop them in as they come to the office. And then our Renaissance team, we do them up into little booklets, and we usually skim through them, but really, I think in the last, probably we haven't had to throw any out in the last 10 years, right? So because people are writing about people that they appreciate and that they want to show their thanks for, right? So we do them up in a booklet, and then sometimes we deliver like a little bit of candy, or one year we did mugs, but you don't even have to do that, because the power of those notes from those kids is something else. Like, I know teachers that started putting those stacks in their desk drawer, so when they were having a bad day, they could pull them out and read them, just to remind themselves, like, wow, what I do really does have an impact. It's just, I'm having a bad day today, and that's okay. Everybody has a bad day, right? Mm-hmm. So it was something to get them through. And we find that doing that in May, because we all know there's no teacher tired like teacher tired in May, right? So that's the last little push to kind of get them to the finish line, and just kind of gives them a little perk.
That's awesome. Just a reminder for those of you that have found us on YouTube or on Facebook, if you have any questions, please put it in the comments, and we'll shoot it over to Melissa. So
maybe you said you have a big student crew this year, which is exciting. Yeah. I know. Can you just talk about, from your perspective, watching them learn the power of recognition? I mean, I imagine, the first time they do this stuff, it might feel a little funny or new or awkward, but I also imagine they get to see the difference it makes. But I'm just curious, from your perspective, what it's like to see students go through the journey of learning the power of recognition.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of them, it's the power of the recognition, but the power of just Renaissance in general, sure. Right? Like, when they see, a lot of times they're doing, like you said, doing the recognition, and sometimes they don't realize the impact that it has until we share those comments with them, right? That people may have either said or something we've heard about a student. But when they actually witness that, like at the Renaissance Champion ceremony, we always have 2 students that are emceeing. And I find the students that are emceeing, because the other kids are running around doing other stuff, but especially the 2 that are emceeing, they get to see firsthand. Like, I've had one of the kids said to me one time, she's like, that there was a particular kid that came through lunch. She's like, I have never seen that kid smile until today. Yeah. Like, she's like, wow, that must have really made his day. And I'm like, yeah, see, what you guys do really does matter. And it has an impact. Right. And, sometimes I think when they're not in it, they think, oh, this stuff just happens. Right. Yeah. And then they actually do it, and they're like, wow, this stuff, it takes a lot of work, but the work is worth it. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's worth it. And to see them also too, as they're doing these recognitions, to blossom and grow in their leadership, right? And how they approach people, like when they're recognizing them, and just how they grow, right? It's such a privilege for me as their advisor to watch them. I can't wait till we can get them back to JRGC, because I find that even takes it to that next level, right? Because they get to see even more of it, right? From other schools and what other schools are doing, right? That's powerful. Those events, right? We host an event every fall, and just getting together with our local schools is powerful, because they come back and they're like, oh, I heard this idea and I heard this idea, and they want to do it all, because once they've experienced it, they realize the impact that it has on people, and that they want that for their school.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a lifelong skill. I mean, yeah, I'm hiring people quite a bit, and that is just a trait that I definitely look for, is people that can understand culture and, honestly, the power of recognition and just seeing and acknowledging other people.
Yeah. And it's really neat too. Like, I've noticed lately that because we have a lot of new students on our team this year, obviously, because we're usually around 10 to 12 and our team is at 25 this year. So they even recognize that the power of just a positive comment between team members is impactful, right? Yeah. To encourage the new people, like, oh, thank you so much for doing that. Like, that was awesome. Or that was a great idea. Thank you for sharing. So just even building that positive informal recognition within the team and giving them kudos when kudos are due is super, super powerful.
Yeah. That's
so great. There's a great comment from Tammy Grant. I don't know if you can see it. She said just the power of it. Favorite quote after homecoming was, we are really redefining what makes a person cool. And that is so awesome, which is so, so great.
That's so true.
It is. True. That's a great quote.
Yeah. Thanks, Tammy. Anything else, Mike? What do you got?
No, I don't think so. It was amazing.
What do you think of Mike as a co-host? Is PC fired? Is PC
I think he's great, but you know what would make it even better was if he would tap dance.
Yeah.
That would seal the deal.
Yes.
It will happen one year. We're going to make it happen.
Who wants to see Mike tap dance in Orlando in June? I know I do.
I don't know that I can learn that quick. We'll see.
We'll start lessons maybe in 2027.
There we go.
Yeah, right?
Melissa, thank you so much. I'm so glad to finally get you on a happy hour, and so you can share your love and expertise of Renaissance with the world. So we didn't get a lot of eyes right now, but we get thousands of people find the recording. So this is going to go. We're going to break the internet, probably, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to. No, but I echo that. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for you, Melissa. Our whole Renaissance team is. You're important and fun leader to be associated with. And you made me so hungry for mac and cheese. I might go get that right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm so thankful for you guys and all of the Renaissance family. Like, seriously, my life would not be the same without all of you and what it has done for me. So I feel very grateful, and I feel it's very fitting that on a Canadian Thanksgiving, I get to be here with everyone.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, our next one is November 17th. This is more of an interactive on Zoom where we can see your face, but we're going to be talking about School of Distinction, give tips and support for those that are applying for School of Distinction. You're a School of Distinction, correct, Melissa?
Yes, we are. Platinum, 5 years in a row.
There you go. And 5? Wow.
Yeah, 5.
That's awesome. So you could give some tips because you're really good at it, and the school is really good at it. But we'll have Therese Kulas, our senior project coordinator, with us. So that's November 17th. You do have to register ahead for that one. So thanks again, Melissa. Thanks, Mike, for joining us. We loved having you. You're a joy to be around anytime. You make me smile every time I hang out with you. And
same, brother.
Thanks, Sarah, in the background. Thanks, Teresa, in the background, trying to make this work. And have a great Thanksgiving, and to all the Canadians up there, and have a great Monday, everybody else. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.